look at this sci-fi franchise and look at Rebel Moon. Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to another trailer reaction. We're looking at Dune Prophecy.
Let's go. One, I had no idea about this.
Yeah, this was announced because they're doing a couple series, and this one's really focused on obviously, on my understanding, on the Bene Gesserit. And this takes place I think I read like 8 or 10,000 years before Paul Atreides.
Oh, this is not based on a book.
It's based on a lot of the writings from multiple books.
Okay, so like they're piecing things together, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, Warner Brothers is hitting a jackpot with Dune.
Yeah, they are.
So let's hop into this, and then we'll have a little bit of discussion afterwards.
10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides.
There you go.
There you go.
Before
Good
the universe
context,
would know us
Disney.
as the Bene Gesserit.
I also love
We
the word on
founded
the
a
Bene
sisterhood.
Gesserit, whatever the word is.
Assigned to the great houses to help them sift truth from lies. We created a network of influence throughout the Imperium. But power comes with a price.
I love this guy.
Very strong.
Yeah.
A sister on the throne. Nothing is more important. And this is the marriage that makes it possible.
Oh, is
This
that
us
the old
playing
lady?
cards, and we will be judged for it.
No, it's not. Nice. Yes.
Sisterhood above all.
Oh man, that's a good tagline.
All right. I'm excited for this.
I'm pumped.
I think so. I haven't read the books.
Your wife's reading the books.
My wife's reading the first one right now. But from the movies, one thing that I absolutely love is just the concept of the Bene Gesserit, like
Absolutely.
manipulating everything behind the scenes, right? And just like planting seeds for this Messiah, and just like moving all these chess pieces for thousands of years. And I like that we're kind of getting like the beginnings of that.
Yes. Okay, so so like I mentioned, I think so earlier. Let's actually. I want to kind of loop back on a conversation we had off script, in the sense that like the Fall Guy currently isn't doing great on box office numbers.
Right.
But we had Planet of the Apes that like is doing pretty good for there. And you posed the question like, do people really want
Original content.
original content or new content?
Or I franchise content.
Right. I don't. This one's hard. Dune's hard because like we had Dune, and they wanted to compete with Star Wars, right? But now, like launching this now feels like so good for this franchise. Not just as an IP, but like as an overall feeling, and it makes me just re-emphasize the feeling like it's not that we don't want new content, because of streaming, we want more content, and when we get something it's hard to put our hard-earned cash on something new to go see a movie theater that costs, like even with your wife or a date, that's a lot of money on something that you're like unsure about. I'll wait. I'm going to go watch a movie that I know I'm going to, at least for the most part, have some connection to and have good expectations to. Whereas new content, I find, to me, I feel like there's a bit of a like growth on the streaming platforms that like they're willing to put in the time to get better, and they'll get better numbers. They like pop off in like the #1 series.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, this franchise is a perfect example of like why we want more. They did Dune 1. They didn't even do the whole. It wasn't even like the whole movie, the book. I mean,
Yeah.
It was literally half the book. Then we're like, what? Everyone's like, it causes a conversation, and then they're like, oh, well then, Villeneuve was like, okay, we'll do another one. But with that development, and then saying, okay, let's develop the series. Let's then announce it. Dune 2 comes out. Phenomenal. Having this come out now.
With the success of Dune 2, the hype of it, and then releasing this, 3 months, 2 months after?
Correct.
Strategically well done.
Well done.
We criticize Warner Brothers often a lot.
We do.
Especially Saslab.
Yes.
But like, obviously the heads at Max are very strategically doing this really well. And what I'm thinking of is, look at this sci-fi franchise and look at Rebel Moon. Okay? Like, I appreciate that both part 1s, part 2s, okay? But Denny's approach to Dude was so much more character focused and story driven rather than Zach's approach of let's see how much cool stuff we can do.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then, and you and I have talked about this offline, but like now you're giving us a series to help expand that world. Whereas there are cool elements in Rebel Moon, but we've said this often, that should have been a series rather than a movie.
Yeah, definitely should have been a series. And like, to me, like you said, the Bene Gesserit is like such a unique concept in the world of Dune that you want more of it. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we get this thing where we get the inner workings a little bit more before having to and like they could easily do 2 seasons of this and call it good.
Yeah.
But have that foundational stuff that they can then tap into later on in a movie to emphasize, like, yet again, how much they influence and they look at centuries of like time periods and seeing their foresight as an organization or whatever it might be, right? Also, we get to see possibly other worlds / other off Dune locations, which is great.
Production value looks
Dude, phenomenal.
Really good.
So good.
Wow, like they're really investing in this. I'm excited for it. I really am.
I will probably renew my Max subscription for this. But we also have House of Dragon coming out too. I think Max could end up solidifying their like
Catalog of
their catalog, saying we're here to play with just as much with Netflix.
Yeah.
But with bigger top tier like content.
Yeah.
Not just like, because Netflix has top tier content too. I love a lot of Netflix shows.
Of course.
But when you consider like the branding, the names that they're putting on, like House of Dragon, these are like huge book, the IPs compared to Netflix IPs, night and day difference, which is okay to have. It's nice to have 2 options in 2 different locations of stuff.
But you bring up a good point. Like, this will help you. This is a motivating factor to renew your Max subscription. And I think that is what Max and HBO or Warner Brothers is really banking on. What's the content and that we can produce that gets these people to continue to renew and sign up?
This just brings up a whole different perspective. Like, will box office? I don't think movie theaters are going anywhere. But at the end of the day, could box office numbers not actually be the real number anymore that we track? Could it be that franchises are looking at how many new subscribers or continual subscribers or whatever the breakdown is come into play in the longer tail of a film? And what does that mean depending like for those platforms? Like, that makes it harder to track. I mean, it becomes more of a blended metric that we have to look at, or like that studios have to look at. But I easily could see that, like, hypothetically speaking, you get even like 3% increase of new subscribers or returning subscribers, and they stick for another year. That's good revenue.
That's incredible revenue
for the studio. Yeah. And say what we're doing and what we're putting into the budgets and for what they're doing pays off.
And also possibly in a possible approach of what do we push into theaters, okay, and what content do we support on the streaming platform to push people to subscribe and renew.
And then on the flip side, push people to then, like, they're committed enough to then put the money to the theaters.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting play as things evolve.
Look, I'm super excited. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this? What has you most excited about Dune Prophecy? Comment below, let us know, and we'll catch you next time.
Later.